Measure of center and variation. This is example 4, finding a standard deviation. Find the standard deviation of the ages for show A in example 3. Use the table to organize your work and to interpret your results. All right, so here is show A. Okay, these are the ages from show A. I went ahead and put those on here. And to use the standard deviation, so the textbook is telling us to use this formula here. All right, so the standard deviation of a numerical data set is a measure of how much a typical value in the data set differs from the mean. The symbol sigma represents the standard deviation. It is read sigma. This is actually lowercase Greek letter for sigma, and it is given this formula here. All right, so you can see that this is the first x minus the average squared, the second x minus the average squared, and so on, all the way to the last x minus the average squared divided by the number, okay, and then all of that, you have to take the square root. So where n is the number of values in the data set, so n is the number of values, the deviation of the data value x is the difference of the data value and the mean of the data set. So x minus x bar, remember x bar represents your average. All right, so it says first find the mean. So you have to take all of these numbers, add them up, and divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you take all of those and add them up, and you're going to get the mean is 25. So I've run ahead and copied this in the table as well. So now you have the mean, you have each number in the data set, and now you have the mean, which is the same for every one of them. Step 2, find the deviation of each data value, so x minus the mean. So here we go, 20 minus 25 is going to be negative 5. And then 29 minus 25 is 4, and you can see this column here is the difference between your value and the mean. All right, so that is step 2. And then you're going to square each one of those values. So negative 5 squared is 25. 4 squared is 16. Negative 6 squared is 36, and so on. All right, so once you do that, find the mean of the squared deviation. So then you're going to find the average of this column here. And this is called the variance. Take the square root of the variance, and that gives you your standard deviation. So all of that is the steps in using this formula here in order to find the standard deviation. I'm going to show you a simple way to do this using your calculator. And I don't think they're ever going to give you a question like this on the EOC on the non-calculator part. So you may see one of these on the calculator part, but I seriously doubt you're going to have to go through all of these steps without a calculator. So I think it's more important to just use your calculator. So I've got the steps written down here, but if you need to clear your list, okay, go to second plus and number 4 is clear all list. So that'll clear your list. That makes the table empty when you go to put it in. So to enter the list and to find your standard deviations, you're going to go to Stat, Edit, and then enter your list. So you're going to enter just your X's here, all in L1. So Stat, Edit is number 1, and then enter all of these X's in L1. Right? If you want to do second quit, that saves that list in there. And then I'm going to go back to Stat, and this time I'm going to calculate. Now we've done this for linear and quadratic regression and different types of regression, but now we're going to do number 1 var stats. That's going to give us our mean and our standard deviation and all of that. So you can see it's pulling from list 1. And it's going to give us a whole bunch of data. So remember X bar, that's your mean. You can see since I entered these numbers here in my list, it's going to give us a mean of 25. And now you can see this right here. This is the lowercase sigma of x. That's your standard deviation of x's is going to be 4.2 for this data set. So the standard deviation is going to be 4.2. Many of you will end up taking prob and stats before you get out of high school, and if you do, you probably will be required to use the formula as it is here. But for Algebra 2, I feel like you just need to be able to find the standard deviation and the mean, and the quickest way to do that is enter the list and use your calculator to do that.